I recently posted a video about being in a relationship with a narcissist, and someone commented that they have been in therapy for 3 years and just starting to get back to themselves again. And I get it, because healing after being in a relationship with a narcissist is not a quick or easy process, and it's not just about getting over the breakup. It's about recovering from the psychological conditioning, the gaslighting, the manipulation, the parts of yourself that you lost, the cycles that slowly start to distort your sense of self, your perception with reality. And in those relationships, you lose your ability to trust yourself. When you're in it, you don't even realize how deep the manipulation goes. And even when you start to heal, there are still going to be moments, months, years later, where memories start to resurface and you're able to see things differently. That's part of the process. You're going to learn, you unlearn, and you heal in layers. And a lot of times when I'm making these videos, it brings things back up for me. Situations where I thought I understood them, but now with more clarity, I can see them completely different. I remember this one situation with my narcissistic ex. We're at his son's baseball game. His phone rings, no call ID. I already knew it was a female. These women knew he was in a relationship and that I was often around, so they would call him no call ID so that I wouldn't see their number on the call ID. If I answered the phone, they could hang up immediately. So I tell him, answer the phone. He answered it, and it's a woman that I had already had issues with before. So just a little backstory about her. Me and her had a conversation where I'm asking her questions about their relationship. She completely downplayed it, but then later calls him from a completely different number than a number I knew her as having. I'm thinking it's a completely different female, so now I'm trying to find out information about this female, only to realize it's the same girl calling to check him about me calling her. So now she's upset. She calls my aunt and she tells my aunt all my business. Things that she should not have known about me. Things that I knew only he told her. These were things that my aunt didn't know. So I knew exactly where she got it from. So in that moment, he tells me that girl crazy, she lying, she a detective, she been looking you up. Some of those things she said, there was no way she could have did a Google search, a paid search, a background check to find out. But anyway, he convinced me that she's crazy. She's just saying these things because I don't want her. I'm not dealing with her. She trying to take your spot. So back to the game. He talks to her briefly, tells her he's at his son's baseball game and he'll call her later. So after the game, I'm questioning him about it, and he reassures me that he hadn't been talking to her. So I say, call her. He calls her and puts the phone on speaker. She says, I wanted to come bend over real quick. That was his thing. He's calm, he's laughing, he's very casual. So he's trying to convince me that he hasn't been dealing with her. So he says, I ain't been dealing with you since you told on me. In that moment, I felt relieved. I'm thinking, okay, good. They ain't fooling around no more. Now I can see it for what it really was. He didn't stop talking to her because he wanted to do right by me. He stopped talking to her to punish her. That was his way of regaining control and order. That's what narcissists do. They don't set boundaries, they enforce dominance. He's telling me she's jealous, she obsessed, she crazy. Meanwhile, when he talked to her, I was insecure, emotional, and I was crazy too. That's the triangulation, when they pit people against each other to stay in control of the narrative. He wasn't protecting either of us. He was protecting access. He needed both of us in his orbit to maintain the attention and validation that we gave him. When you're in it, you start celebrating less harm as love. At least he's not cheating. At least he's not upset. You stop demanding the truth. You're just grateful that the chaos paused for a minute. That's what narcissistic abuse does. It trains you to mistake calm for change. It distorts your baseline for what normal really is. And I say that because healing from narcissistic abuse isn't just a straight line. It's not just about getting over the person. It's about reprogramming your entire nervous system from years of walking on eggshells and questioning yourself. And you'll have revelations like this months or years later, where your memories start to come back and you can see them through a different lens. You won't always recognize the manipulation until you're out of survival mode. For me, therapy was one of the most beneficial things. Healing means learning to trust your own instincts again and rebuilding your confidence. You got to create safety within yourself before you can look to other people. There's no deadline on recovery. For some people, it takes months. For others, it takes years. The goal is to just keep moving forward. People think that leaving the narcissist is the hardest part, but staying gone and healing what they did to your mind, that's the real work. So if you're in that space right now, give yourself patience. Healing isn't about rushing to forget. It's about learning to remember without having to relive it.